Yes, everyone. Very good morning. Switch on your cameras before I start your class, please. Can you see me? I have been muted. Okay. Now, can you hear me? Yes, ma'am. Okay. So, we were studying the lesson called, which lesson we were studying? Separation of substances, right? Yes. Everyone, switch on your cameras fast. So again in this lesson, we have seen about separation of insoluble solid from liquid, right? So this we were studying in previous class. Okay. So for this separation of insoluble solid from liquid, we have again four methods. So which are those four methods? Yesterday we have discussed that sedimentation, yes, decantation, next loading, and filtration. Very good. So these are what? Four methods of separating insoluble solid from the mixture. Yesterday I told that if I give you the mixture of sand in a water or salt in a water, sugar in water or chalk powder in a water, if I give that mixture, then how we are going to separate that? We don't know how to separate. So for that we have these all methods, that is sedimentation, decantation, loading and filtration. Now we will see what is this sedimentation method. Okay. You all are able to hear me properly? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Now here I take water. So first method we are studying, that is sedimentation. So this method we are studying now, that is sedimentation. Now in this water, what I'll do is I'll mix with the muddy water. Which water? Muddy water. What is meant by this muddy water? The water which is mixed with the mud or which is mixed with the soil. So that water I am going to add in this pure water. Now I will leave this beaker for 1 to 2 hours. So for how many time I left this beaker? For 1 to, yes, for 1 to 2 hours I kept that beaker as it is. Then what happens? Later, after 1 to 2 hours, you observe that the soil which is mixed with the water, it will completely settle down at the bottom of this water. So we get the pure layer. So you cannot see on that side. Yes. You get what? Water layer at the top of beaker. Then this one is what here? So this is mud or soil layer. So the process of separating water layer and soil, that is called sedimentation. So in this way we separate insoluble solid from the liquid mixture, right? So this is what sedimentation process. Now here these soil or mud particles are called heavier particles. Okay, these are called having what? Heavier particles of soil, which will settle down at the bottom of water after leaving 1 to 2 hours. And at the top of this soil, we get what? Water, because this water is light in weight compared to the soil particles. Soil particles are heavy in weight compared to the water molecule. And one more is, here we have seen that the sedimentation process, right? So the soil or the mud which has settled down at the bottom of this water, that we call it as a sediment. What it is? Sediment. Sediment is what? The settled heavier particle at the bottom of liquid. So what is the sediment here? Sediment is here nothing but that is mud or soil which is settled down at the bottom of this water. Now what this water is called? What this water is called? This water is called supernant. What it is called? Supernant. So these are two important words or the what things we should be remember. Understood what is mean by sedimentation? Yes, ma'am. Or shall I explain once again? No. Okay, see here. In short, I'll explain. Here I have taken muddy water. Okay, this is what the muddy water. It is complete of mixture of what? Water plus soil. Okay, now I'll keep this for 1 to 2 hours. Later on, what we observe in this, we observe that water will be, the soil will settle down at the bottom of this water. So the heavier particles which has settled down, that we call it as a sediment. What it is? Sediment. Next, the top layer of water, that is called supernant. What it is called? Supernant. So this process is nothing but sedimentation. Understood? Understood, students? Okay. Now shall we move to next? Now next method is decantation. What is mean by decantation? How we gonna try this decantation? Now what we'll do is, the mixture where we have separated the water and soil, the same beaker will take for the process of decantation, right? Now here what I'll do is, I'll take 2 glass, right? Here 1 glass is there, here One more glass is there. Okay. So without disturbing this sediment, or we can say the soil, without disturbing, slowly will pour this water in this next glass. Okay, so we'll pour this water in the next glass without disturbing this sediment. Slowly we have to pour in this glass. Now what we get? We get separate sediment, or we can call it as a soil, and in another glass we get water, or the pure water we can say. So this is what decantation process. So without disturbing this sediment, slowly we are pouring that water in this next glass, so that what we get here, separately we get water and sediment in another glass. So in this way we can what? Separate solid from the liquid. Understood? No doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
No doubt?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. So see here, without disturbing sediment, pouring this supernatant into the another glass to get pure water separately, and the soil is called decantation process. Okay. Pratham Patil, feeling sleepy? Next is which method after decantation? What is the next method?
Sedimentation. Sedimentation.
After decantation, which is the method?
Sedimentation. Sedimentation.
Loading. Okay. See here, in loading process, what we are doing is, here you can see. So what we get here, we got here water, right? And here we got sediment, that is nothing but soil, right? This is what we got separately, water and sediment in the decantation process. In decantation process we got water and sediment separately. Now you might have seen that here somewhere the very fine particles of soil, very tiny, very small, means small, which cannot be, which we couldn't separate by this decantation process. Still, very minute particles are there. Very minute particles of soil, it is present in the water. Now again we have to take one more step where we can separate the soil from the water. No matter about this sediment, we got it. Okay, we'll forget about this. But the supernut which we got in decantation process or in sedimentation process, still the soil particles are present in that, right? Now, how to separate that soil particles from this supernut or from this water, right? So, how to separate that? For separating, cracking. Now,
No, ma'am.
no? Okay. So here what we do is we use alum. We use what? Alum in loading process. Now we are reached to the loading process. We completed what? Sedimentation and decantation. Now we will see loading. What happens in loading process? Yes? What happens in loading process? Here we are taking alum. Alum is called as what? Have you heard this fatak? Have you heard this name fatak? Your mom might be using in yes. Have you heard this name fatak, which will be used for making potato chips? Potato chips are made round shape and again it is poured in water, and in that water fatak is mixed. Have you ever seen like that? It is of white color big stone. Yes. So that is called alum. The scientific name of that fatak is alum. Okay. Now we take this alum and mix with this water. Okay. We are adding this alum into this water. Now what happens here after adding alum? The soil particles and the alum will stick together and they become heavier and settle down at the bottom of this beaker, and the remaining water will remain at the top. Okay, this alum and the soil particles, they stick together. Suppose this is alum and this is soil particles. They stick together, they become heavy in weight. You know that heavy particles, they sink in the water. So after sticking this both, they settle down at the bottom of this water. And then one second. Yes. So we have seen sedimentation, decantation, and loading. So in loading, we have used alum that will stick with the soil and becomes heavier, and it will settle down at the bottom of this water. And later on, we get what? Pure water and separately the soil particles. So in this way, we separate liquid from the solid, that is separation of solid or insoluble solid from the liquid mixture. Understood? Now let us move to filtration. Now what is filtration? Do you drink coffee, tea? You all drink coffee, tea? Yes. Now let us what? Prepare tea. How we prepare tea? In vessel, I'll take what? Water. Yes. So for preparing tea, what we needed? What we needed? Water. Water. Then in somewhere box, the tea powder is there. Yes. So we'll take 1 teaspoon or 2 teaspoon of tea powder and we'll add in this. Right? So it is a mixture of water and tea powder. Right? Now I'll start the burner or I'll start the stove. Now what will happen? This water mixture and tea powder, it will get mixed and it will start boiling. Yes, but we forgot to add what? We forgot to add sugar. Without sugar, how you drink tea? Yes. So for making tea, we use what? Water, tea powder, sugar, and some of you might be using elaichi or ginger to make tea very tasty, right? But we'll forget about that. We use only water, tea powder, and sugar. Now we have added this all three substances in this water. Now this tea started getting boiled. After boiling, what we use? Now, yes, we use milk. Now here, now we hear what we got? Black tea. We get what? Black tea.
Black tea.
Now we'll add in this what? Milk. We add milk. Now after adding milk, we get tea, right? Hot tea we get. So now this tea has become very tasty, right? Because I am preparing this tea and I am giving you all, right? Yes. So now this tea, how you get directly you added that milk to this black tea without doing any filtration? What do you do before adding the tea in this cup? Yes, we want strainer. Strainer is having net or it is having a mesh like a structure inside it. So this we will pour and later on we get tea in a cup. Right? So here we get tea and what is remaining here? Here the tea residue is remaining here and only the pure tea we are getting. So this is also one way of filtration, right? This is also the one way of filtration. For filtration, what we have used here? Strainer. Yes, what we have used? Strainer. Yes. So strainer is a medium where it is separating coffee from the tea powder, right? So this is also one way of separation of insoluble solid from the liquid. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You all have seen this in your home, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here this is not general filtration which you see in your daily life, but when we talk about the filtration in science, now we'll perform one activity based on this. Okay? Everyone has drunk tea, which I have prepared. How it was? Okay, now we will see filtration. Which is the next process? Filtration. So for this filtration, we require these all materials. We'll take here one beaker, okay, and here one funnel, and this funnel is connected with the stand, right? Okay. So this is what the beaker, this is funnel, and this is stand. Now which process we are? Which process we are doing now? That is filtration. Yes. Now suppose I am having here again mixture. The mixture is having water plus sawdust. What it is having? Mixture is containing water and sawdust. Now, here I wanted to, yes, that activity only. Here I wanted to separate this water and sawdust. So, for this purpose, I will use filter paper which I made in the form of cone. Okay? Which I made in the form of cone. Like this filter paper I am having. Filter paper, it is used for, it is a filter paper. It is used for separating solid from the liquid. And this filter paper has very small, tiny pores on it. Where that pores are, smaller than sawdust. These pores of filter paper are very small, very smaller than this sawdust particles. So this filter paper will place inside this. Okay. This filter paper will place inside this. Then we will use this mixture. Now we'll add this mixture of water and sawdust. Right? Slowly we'll add that mixture of water and sawdust in this funnel. Now what you observe is the sawdust will retain, or it will remain here only on the filter paper, and only the water will fall down and it will be collected in the beaker. Okay. So the sawdust or whatever the solid particles remained behind in this filter paper, it is called residue. What it is called? What it is called? Residue. Yes. And the liquid which has been collected after filtering, it is called filtrate. What it is called? Filtrate. Filtrate. It is called filtrate. So you all should remember this. Words should not forget. So here we have mixture of what? Water plus sawdust. Okay, so here we wanted to separate the sawdust from the water. That mixture we will pour on this funnel, and this funnel is having what? Filter paper. It is having filter paper, where in that filter paper this residue, that means the sawdust will remain back, and only the water will be filtered through this funnel and it is collected in the beaker, right? So whatever the sawdust remain in the filter paper, that is called residue, and the filtered liquid which is falling down from this funnel, that is called filtrate. Can you remember these all words? Residue, sediment, supernatant, filtrate, alum. You all should remember these words. So residue and filtrate we have seen in filtration. So in this way we can what? Separate insoluble solid from the liquid with the help of filtration method also. So these are four methods of separation of insoluble solid from the liquid. So if anybody is having doubt, clarify your doubt here itself. No?
No, ma'am.
And this is also called muddy water. Muddy water, and the water filtrate which we are getting is clean, and the waste which is remained back in the filter paper, that is called residue. So do you all remember this? Sedimentation, decantation, loading and filtration. You can remember, right? Okay. So we'll wind up the class. Next we will see in next session. Bye bye. Thank you.